Hey guys, this is Thomas over here, nursemoneytalk.com. And in this video, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show you how I use the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil along with one of the more popular note-taking apps to be able to take notes in nursing school. So for those of you guys who've been kind of following along, you know that I'm in grad school, like nursing grad school, trying to get my family nurse practitioner. And so these are kind of some of the things that I'm kind of sharing with you guys on how what I'm doing to ideally be successful. And so this video is really taking a lot of the things that I've done when I first went to nursing school and pretty much just kind of moving it in a more digital form. And in my opinion, a lot more better, kind of like a lot more better form if at that. But before I get into that, if you're not already subscribed, I want to go ahead and invite you to hit the subscribe button on this channel. I talk about all things related to nursing student, and of course, nurse life. The last other thing I'll mention, actually two more things I'll mention. One, if you want to follow along and stay up to date on all the kind of like the updates I'm doing and the tips that I'm giving about kind of going through my nursing program, make sure to hit that subscribe button and also leave a comment below if you have any questions. The last thing I will mention before I get going is that the links to everything I mentioned, including which iPad I'm using and of course which Apple Pencil I'm using, will also be in the descriptions below. Those are affiliate links. You know, if you use it, make a purchase. I make a commission, and those commissions are actually it's not gonna add any extra cost to you, and it's a really great way to support the channel. So let me kind of set this up by saying that I've been a huge note taker pretty much ever since college. Even as I kind of went through later in college and kind of laptops got better and people started bringing more typing stuff, I've always preferred writing it. Interestingly enough, even though I'm a fairly quick typer, I've always preferred the writing because I felt like none of the softwares, and this was writing with paper and pencil, because none of the softwares, like when it came to using a mouse and a keyboard, really was seamless enough to be able to do the things that I could do in freehand. And so that's just kind of been my thing. So I've always stuck with a paper and pencil. But there's a lot of issues with paper and pencil, and I might actually make a separate video kind of comparing the issues I have with paper and pencil. And so one of the things I've done, which I can't even remember how I found out, is that the iPad is actually a great resource or tool in terms of taking notes. Now, the most efficient way to do it is, or the best way to do it is, you need a pretty good iPad, ideally like the current gen. Like I said, link to the one I'm using and the latest one will also be in the descriptions below. And then you will need the Apple Pencil. And so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen, so you'll see kind of like the screen that I'm looking at here. And this is really to kind of give you a glimpse of what you can do with the iPad, right? And so this note that you're looking at, which is infant development milestones, it was actually based off of a video that that I was watching that kind of talked about the infant development milestones, ranging from like 1 month to all the way over to 4 years, I should say. And so what I kind of want to show you is just like how like nice it is. And so when you're writing, that is like legit my handwriting. And so this is pretty good. As you can kind of see, like it's pretty legible as well. Like you can go through, erase stuff. So if I want to erase lift head, I can then go ahead and rewrite it. Huh, I'm not sure which. Oh, that's why. And so the beauty, you can't really see, but the thing with the iPad is like as you write, if you double tap it, then it gets to the eraser and then you can erase. You double tap it again and then it starts writing again. Or if you can always go to the back button right here, and then the back button, as you can kind of see over here in a kind of like a different way, would be like this right here. And then you can pretty much go all the way back. You can go all the way back to right before I erased anything. And so what you'll notice is like you can easily change through colors by drop down, and then it gives you like options right here. They also have like a highlighter, which you can, of course, pick your color, pick, what size you want on there as well. And you can do that. If you wanted to, the erasers right here, like say you can already double tap and get to that right there. If you wanted to move stuff around, it's just as easy as doing that. That's kind of actually moving around and copy and pasting was kind of like how I made a lot of this notes. And I'll actually put a link to the video where I got this, because the beauty of this iPad, and I never quite realized how powerful this really was that because this iPad art, it has a camera in it. I was actually able to, I could have done a screenshot if I was actually watching it on the iPad itself, but I was actually watching it on my monitor. And so as I was taking the notes, and then what I did was I just went up here where it said camera, and then it gave me an option to take note, to take a picture, and then you can then just add it in there, and then you can crop it. Because even if you go here, you can kind of see that crop. You can see the original image right there, right? Like so, you can kind of see what that image was first like, because that was the original image itself. And then I drew the lines and then just kind of decorated it a little bit as well, just kind of get it to fit. You can see this work, it was literally just from writing it. One thing that I did notice that's kind of nice when it comes to this iPad as opposed to paper is that this, so I'm using the iPad and then I have a stand. This one happens to be from Logitech, and I'll put a link to this also in the descriptions, but it has like a little kickstand on it that allows it to actually, like to prop it up and then for it to go actually all the way down. And so that's kind of like what's pretty nice about like this particular setup. And so like it allows me to actually have my like the surface slightly elevated as I'm actually writing, which is also really good. You can kind of see as I'm scrolling through kind of like some of the stuff and the notes that I've made over this in particular. And then it's been honestly like pretty nice in terms of the ability that I can, my ability to take notes. So one other thing that I will kind of point out is that as you scroll over, as like, so I kind of backed out of it, and then you can see how I have everything else, kind of how I have like the classes. So I have the two classes up here, orientation exam 1, orientation like module 1. And then you can kind of see then that allows me to really just kind of like reorient and kind of set things up a little differently based on what I'm wanting to do. And so it really gives you a lot of flexibility to reorient things. One thing I will actually kind of show you guys as well, like really just kind of looking at how well you can take notes on this is one of the notes that I took for one of the videos that I made, which was on the best back to school essentials for nursing students. And so you can then kind of see then the layout of the notes on here. And this was like just the Apple Pencil is what wrote all of this. And so you can then can kind of see the beauty of how to really lay this out. This one was just like handwriting, no images in there. So I don't think I actually mentioned which app I'm using. So for this one, I'm using an app called Notability. There's also, which I have it as well. There's also one called Good Notes, and there's actually several others. Notability and Good Notes are probably the two big ones. I mean, but I think there's other more niche ones. And I think even with looking at the other, like the options out there, I think one of the things that really you kind of need to note about, which one you're going to get is to really get a feel for them. Try a couple out because the layout and how things are structured is going to make a difference for you in terms of your particular flow. So for instance, like some of the other ones I've used, but I'll just compare Good Notes and Notability. Like I didn't like how Good Notes was laid out, and I preferred how Notability was laid out. So I just kind of went with that. But ultimately, you just need a responsive app that responds really well to writing, gives you a little bit of customizations options as well, but nothing too overly overwhelming that you spend more time customizing and actually taking notes and studying. And then that's laid out in a fashion that works really well for how you actually think. But yeah, that's all I got for this. Let me know if you have any questions, about this or anything else, or what video you'd like me to make next. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you very soon in that next video.